Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt that you've been doing everything recommended, but your body still isn't moving toward pregnancy? If that's you, then I want you to hear this. Your body isn't broken. It's responding. And that understanding that your body is responding to the conditions that it's living in, well, that changes how we approach fertility. I'm Batya. I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner, a midwife, and a fertility specialist. And I work with women who are trying to conceive and feel stuck, confused, or unsure what to do next, even when they've done everything they were told. This space is not about forcing your body to get pregnant. You can't really do that anyway. It's about learning how to understand your body and uncover what it's responding to, so you can support it in a way that both honors your body and actually works. And honestly, that's very different from how fertility is usually talked about. You see, most fertility conversations today are built around numbers and timelines. Hormone levels, follicle counts, ovulation timing, good cycles and bad ones. And while these things really do matter, what I see again and again is that the numbers can quietly narrow how women relate to their bodies. When something shows up as irregular, attention often collapses around that one detail, a specific hormone, a value, a follicle size, a diagnosis, even if that label doesn't fully explain what's happening. For example, a woman might be told her progesterone is low, and suddenly everything becomes about fixing that number, even though her cycle, her energy, her stress load are all telling a bigger story. On the other hand, when everything looks normal, but pregnancy still isn't happening, sometimes curiosity can quietly disappear. Women are reassured that nothing's wrong and that over time, that reassurance can replace deeper inquiry, even when something still doesn't feel resolved. For example, a woman's cycles are regular, her labs are in range, and she's told to keep trying even though her body feels depleted, disconnected, or stuck. In both cases, when things don't work, the conclusion quietly becomes, I must be doing something wrong, or even worse, my body is broken. And that's often the moment when women seek deeper help. In my clinic, I meet women in very different places. Some have tried everything, tracking, supplements, protocols, you name it. Others feel frozen, unsure what matters and what doesn't. But both often arrive with the same confusion and the same implicit question. What does my body need right now? And what both these women really need is clarity. So I don't simply start by focusing on what's failing. I start with a different question. What is this body responding to? Stress, nourishment, safety, depletion, emotional load, inflammation or toxic burden, long-term patterns of adaptation. Over time, these pressures usually don't disappear, and they shape how the body adapts, responds, and functions. These imbalances are what lead to symptoms like irregular cycles, delayed ovulation, pain, even what's often called unexplained infertility. The important shift that you need to make is to understand that these symptoms aren't random. They're communication, the body's way of signaling how it's responding to the conditions that it's been living in. This is also how Chinese medicine understands the body, not as a collection of isolated problems, but as patterns in systems that unfold over time. So when the body doesn't move toward pregnancy, it's usually not because it forgot how. It's because something in the system is under strain or is asking for help or support. And to me, if symptoms are communication, then the first step isn't quieting them or forcing change, but it's learning how to listen to them and interpret the signal. In order to do that, we need to slow down and listen. Listening doesn't mean doing nothing. It means gathering the right information so we can respond intelligently instead of fighting the body or forcing outcomes. So once you understand that the body is responding, the real question becomes, what is it responding to? And how do we support that response instead of working against it? Well, this leads to what I like to call root cause healing. When people hear the phrase root cause healing, they often imagine more tests or more things to fix. But that's not what I mean. Root cause work is about slowing down enough to notice patterns, physical patterns, emotional patterns, metabolic and immune patterns, and understanding what led there, what the body has been adapting to. I often think of the symptoms like leaves on a tree. The leaves matter, of course they do, but they're responding to what's happening in the roots. So healing happens when we support the roots, not when we focus only on what's visible on the surface. Now, this way of working didn't come from a single book or training. It came from years of clinical practice and evolution, and also from my own personal experiences with infertility at very different stages of my life, where the same body, in different contexts, required very different types of support. And what I've seen again and again is that healing is rarely about fixing something that's fundamentally broken. It's more about relieving strain, whatever that may be, and helping the body to feel resourced enough to shift itself back into fertility. Because a healthy, happy, safe, and resource body, well, it wants to procreate. That's the nature of human beings. Here in this space, we'll be exploring the patterns beneath the symptoms: cycles, stress physiology, digestion, inflammation, toxic load, emotional load, and more. And how these quietly shape fertility in ways that most women are never taught to even look at. We'll talk about why things stall, why unexplained isn't actually unexplained, and how to work with your body instead of fighting it. Foundations like nourishment, sleep, blood sugar balance, and stress support, they matter deeply. And for some women, optimizing these is enough. For others, these foundations are still important, but they're just the beginning, not because something's wrong, but because their fertility story is more layered. Remember, listening means noticing what responds and what doesn't. In the next episode, we'll look at why fertility is never just an ovary issue and how the rest of the body is quietly participating in every single cycle. In closing, I'll leave you with this. Your body isn't broken. Your symptoms aren't random. And fertility doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to support. Take this as an invitation to listen more gently, more compassionately, and more purposefully. Your body is wiser than you think.